I think that the activities that we were involved in were extremely helpful, and it started from the very beginning, and it may have been frustrating. I know some of the days I came home, I was completely mentally fried, but it was, we need to think from an educational process, a philosophical process, and we need to start from there. Instead of, okay, we're gonna start thinking about the building right now. It was, no, we need to think from this process of why are we doing this? What's really important? And, it took a bunch of meetings to really go through that, and that was the way to do it. As we got through the process, we're like, wow, this is really cool. We're actually truly thinking and doing the right thing. We're thinking about what's at the core of this, which is educating the student. And that's what's important to us. So that was really cool. And then as we got kind of narrowed down what's important for us, we get to the next step, and that's kind of getting into these different groups, and we're starting to put things together and put our ideas together. What came out of that was some really cool ideas. Nowhere near what we ended up with, but it was neat. It wasn't one person, it wasn't 10 people, it was all of us. It was teachers, it was students, it was community members, and it was the architect team. It was everybody, and it was a bonding experience as well. I didn't think that, not only with my colleagues, but, with everybody in that room, it was like, we became friends. We became a family unit in a way that was there to solve a puzzle, in a sense. And I truly felt like we did solve this puzzle, and I think we're all very proud of what came out of that. But if we would have just kind of been a bunch of people lined up at a table and we're talking to a screen or whatever, that would have never happened. It was these activities that forced us, really in essence forced us. It brought us out of our cliques, and it brought us together in different ways, and those arguments bore some amazing ideas and philosophies, and came the final product. And like I said before, our final product wouldn't be what it is without it.
With this whole thing, first of all, it shocked me. I did not expect it to be so educationally based. I had an interest in architecture, and when the opportunity arose, I did apply for it. I'm so thankful that I was chosen. But I just didn't expect it to be so educationally based, and that's what really shocked me today. First of all, the input that you took from us and how you built around what we wanted. I really thought it would just be more blueprints and figuring out square footage. And I've always had an interest in that. And but then the way you guys went about it, and how it was so interactive with us, and how you really took our opinions and our advice as to how we think learners learn best. And I got to tell you, I learned a lot from you guys as far as how learners learn best. And it helped me change my own approach, or at least alter my approach in a lot of different ways. So just thoroughly impressed with the process. I truly believe in the process. I believe that the only way we can get better as a school is to work together. The people that are in the trenches are the ones that really need to have input. You guys adhere to that philosophy that you need to build the building right. You need our advice, the ones that are going to be in there every day, working through the building and using it as a function of learning, as opposed to just four walls and a floor. So I'm thoroughly impressed, surprised by it at the beginning, but then I always look forward to our meetings because we had fun, most importantly. But I came out of there learning a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I'd learn about architecture, but I really learned how to be a better teacher through it all.
Yeah, I believe that the tours that we were involved in, whether it be local or outside of the district or outside the city, were very helpful. The reason they're very helpful, as an educator, as someone that is going to be a part of a new building and a new structure, you want to see what has recently been done in a way of innovation or maybe even stagnation. And we got a chance to see both of those. We saw some really great buildings, but they really didn't enthuse us in the sense that they were beautiful buildings. They were costly, they were expensive, but the education that was taking place in them was still designed for a group of students from 50, 60 years ago. And we were able to see that. By the same token, we were able to go to places that we saw transformation. We saw transformation of education, because I think as we go forward, the buildings that we saw, we're going to take the best out of those institutions and incorporate it into what is a unique educational model for Chartiers Valley.
Two guiding principles. One was flexibility and agility. We wanted to create spaces that over the life of these buildings could do anything, which meant that we really didn't want to have anything structural on the inside of the spaces. We didn't want to have things that were going to have to be stuck forever. So we put all of the structural support on the outside of the building. So anything that's on the inside can be moved over time. We can change it, reconfigure it, reinvent ourselves, and we're not stuck for the long haul. We also really thought about the principles of flexibility and agility from a curriculum perspective. So we wanted to create spaces that allowed for collaboration in all kinds of ways. Collaboration of kid to kid, collaboration of teacher to student, collaboration of teacher to teacher. And it was really important to sort of break down. Often what happens in schools is that teachers, any teachers here? So teachers often really love their classroom. Like they can think about their classroom as their nest. So when I first came to this school, in the middle and upper school, as many teachers that existed in the middle and upper school, that's how many coffee makers there were, and that's how many refrigerators there were. And literally, I'm not joking, and that's a sign of sort of this nesting, right? Teachers like to have everything they need where they are. And there's some aspects of that that are great, but there's also aspects of that that really don't foster collaboration and teamwork. Because if you're not going to the same coffee maker and interacting with others, you're not having conversations. There's a lot of aspects where these buildings were responding to our curriculum, but they also were leading our curriculum change. So there's a nice interplay between what we're trying to do in thinking about educational space, leading practice, and practice also being supported by the architectural space. So an example of where architecture was leading practice, initially when these buildings opened, it was sort of like, well, who wants to work in these buildings? Who wants to leave their nest? Who wants to leave their coffee maker? This was not a popular spot to sort of say, I'll be in a glass room, no problem. Very, very quickly, that's totally shifted. Like everyone wants to teach here. Like this is the popular place to teach. But a huge, huge shift in terms of pedagogy.
Penultimate learning of it all, because we got to see it, but it wasn't just blueprints, it wasn't just drawings, it was hands-on. We were there, we got to experience, we got to talk to people who were in the building and see what worked, what didn't work, and I think that was the most beneficial of that trip. Very effective. I think that was the most learning we did, was going on that trip, and we we came together as a group. I think we grew together as a group and learned how.
And then specifically on some of the ones that I thought were really, really good at that. Obviously the guiding principles that we did at the beginning, so we spent a lot of time on that, working on the principles, drawing them out, posting them on the board, are on the wall talking about them, things like that. That was huge, I thought, because that really gave all of us a chance to almost create a definition for what this new school should represent. And so now when people ask why is a new school necessary, you've got this whole list of different things where you're like, this is why we talked about this and this makes sense to us. So I thought that was really effective. It certainly worked on me. I felt like I was owning it. And I also thought that the design charrette where we were playing with the layout of the school, I thought that was really huge. And on the one hand, obviously we couldn't design the whole school right there. We're not architects. That's your job, obviously. But it was nice just to kind of give you ideas of what we were thinking and what would make intuitive sense to us. Maybe you would stick with those suggestions, maybe not. But it certainly, I think, it helped. It kind of got everybody close to the same way of thinking. And then from there, obviously, you would refine and make changes where needed.
The charrettes were great as well. I think everybody felt comfortable in speaking out and contributing their opinions, and that's a tribute to you guys. You really made us comfortable. You made us feel that our opinion was valued. Although you guys drove this whole thing, it was more, there's that great phrase that a teacher shouldn't be the sage on the stage, they should just be the guide on the side. And that's what you guys were. You knew the X's and O's, you knew the blueprints, but you let us take the lead and express what we feel would be best for this brand new building.
I think it was a unique process in that it started us rethinking what we do. And as teachers, we don't often get a chance to do that. We started thinking about, how do we do scheduling? How do we interact with students? Where is our place in education now, and where will it be in 20 years? And how does a building fit into that? How can we reshape education to better serve our students?
As far as where we are today and how we're planning for the new building and the new construction and everything that's going to take place, there's things already happening. There's rumors of schedule shakeups. There's rumors of people actually starting to think in a different way about how we are going to teach kids and how we are going to prepare our students for the learning that they have to do either in college or in the world which they face after they leave Chartiers Valley. In light of that, many of us are being very reflective. We're looking back at our own teaching style and saying, hey, is this working today? So we know we're not going to be, let's say, in a place where we just go in our own little corner and do our own thing. In the learning communities and so on and so forth, all eyes will be upon us. And that's a good thing. In my world, it's a great thing. I get to see what my colleagues do, and we can bounce off each other ideas and thoughts and projects and things that we can all work on collaboratively that the kids look at and see there's value. So there are changes taking place, and the changes are fundamental. They're not just window dressing, okay, we did this, let's move on. It's not a checklist. It's something that's going to be a permanent change.
Within the own walls of my classroom, just the mobility and moving my students around and understanding that helps is more conducive to learning. Getting them down to places like our DMC, like our LGI rooms, giving them the availability to have that movement, to have that flexibility. I think that's one of the big things that I learned from this whole process, that just that stagnant sitting in desks and rows learning, it's an antiquated approach. We can't use it anymore. And that's really what this building is going to be all about. It's going to be about that flexibility, having different places to take kids that they can learn in different areas and excel in different places. So
you start to rethink, well, how can we do this better? I mean, we're no longer stuck in this building per se. We have a chance to kind of excuse the term, blow it all up and start all over again, you know, and learn from the mistakes that we've made and learn from our triumphs and kind of, you know, start all over again and kind of stitch this new thing together, which is a really, really cool opportunity. And to all come together and do that instead of, you know, someone else kind of deciding what we're going to do and kind of put us in these you know, round pegs, but you know, we're square, and kind of try to fit us all into that. No, we got to make the decision. The people in the trenches got to put our say into this, which is such a unique experience. And so it started a transformation already, which is great because the transformation doesn't start the minute that the new building is in operation. It starts now.